Hey everybody, it's Ladida
Your boy Grizzly.
and we're here with another Rowdy episode. We're so glad that you guys have tuned back in. We are loving the love that you've been giving to us these past week, and we're here to stay. We're here to do as much as we can. Let me say that. Do as much as we can. And we're here with another topic. I know you see it in the description. You probably clicked it really fast. But we're talking about dating outside your spirituality. Hmm. We heard about dating outside your race, but I think it's important for us to talk a little bit about dating outside it is that whatever it is that you believe. So let's get into it.
I've been seeing everything that you've been doing. You've been noticing everything that I've been saying. And I don't need a notebook, cause I got it written in my head. And you don't need a tape recorder. You got a memory like no other. Oh, I promise we'll be alright. No rowing, no number five. All day I've been waiting on a road day. Just say what you've been thinking on a road day. But a rowing isn't a conversation. I had to learn that in my life. We gonna make sure we never go back to that life. 'Cause we talking it out. We talking it out.
We're talking it out, guys. So, why are you smiling like that? Oh.
Interesting.
All right. So I came across this post where this lady was talking about an experience she had in a relationship. So I'm gonna read it for you guys. It says,
She'll read in your hearing.
"My boyfriend and I were madly in love. We danced in the rain together, shared milkshakes, cooked together, and hardly argued. Him and I, we knew we were going to last forever. Until we knew we weren't. We passed a van on the highway which sported a giant sign. Jesus says, 'Repent now or spend your eternity in hell.' I laughed. He was silent. 'That's just crazy, don't you think?' I asked. He remained silent. 'Hun, you don't agree with that, do you?' Silence. 'You know I don't believe in a Christian God, right?' He nods, and I pause. 'Do you think I'm going to hell?' He looks at me sideways, keeping an eye on the road, and said, 'You still have time to change your mind.' Yeah.
That's rough.
It was at that moment she
Mm.
knew. It was at that moment she knew it wasn't gonna work. But I'm
Mm.
wondering why was he so comfortable in knowing, because he knew she don't subscribe to
He had
that
faith
belief.
that one day she would change. I believe.
Boy, this hoping people change. This got
So
y'all in a chokehold.
it's coming a recurring theme.
I know it is. It's very admirable, and you want the best for people, and you want to see the good in them, but
Mm-mm.
it don't work. It's not up to you. It just don't work like that. It don't work like that all the time.
So how would you what's your take on this?
My take on it is that when there are religious uh, discrepancies,
Mm-hmm.
depending on the persons involved, this could become a issue.
Okay.
It could become an issue. What's your take?
Oh, wow. This is tough for me. Uh, Personally, my opinion. It's not your opinion. You don't have to take my I can tiptoe around it. Depending on where religion is in your life, is how important this is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? If your faith is the most important thing in your life, this could be a deal breaker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
And we're saying religion because we do acknowledge that other there are other beliefs out there.
Spirituality.
There are, right. So right, we said spirituality, not religion, because we know there are other beliefs out there, and we're not going to just condense it to one, but we are going to speak from one that we are most well, at least one that
Now,
I'm most familiar with.
now, if you grew up in a Christian home, but since you moved out, you're not a practicing Christian. You know Christian, you have Christian values, you know
Yeah.
Christianity, you know what the Bible says, but you're not a practicing Christian. This may not be
A
like the
deal
highest
breaker
thing in
for
the
you.
world for you. And sometimes people like to pretend. People like to pretend that, okay, but I've been to church a couple of times as a child. Well, I know God, so you know,
You don't believe in God?
I don't believe in this. You don't believe in that. And even that sentence right there, I don't like that sentence. You believe in God. What people really saying when they say that is, do you believe in my God? Do you believe in the way I see it?
Yeah.
Not so much, because you will have two Christians who have opposing views. If one is a Seventh-day Adventist and the other one is Anglican, they got very opposing views, and it could be a rumble.
It will. It's gonna be. It's gonna be. I don't. I wouldn't say it's impossible because nothing really is impossible. But
For the
why go through the? Why go through the difficulties of it? Like the outcome of it. I don't. I don't know if it's worth going through that all of that for.
Me personally, guys, personally, I don't think that, and this me, Ladi da defend this, but I don't think it make that much of a difference.
You don't.
No,
Why not?
because faith doesn't necessarily dictate how a person is. I know some very messed up, very evil, vindictive, very rude Christians,
Mm-hmm.
and I know some very kind, loving, protective street niggas.
Mm-hmm.
So what I can do, I can base it off of what? I basing it off of the faith in the Bible that you who saying that you're part of that faith don't even live up to that standard or act like.
Right. So it goes back to what you said about how important their spirituality is to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's
Mm-hmm.
a lifestyle difference.
Mm-hmm.
If a person would like to live a life that is a lot more um, wholesome
Mm-hmm.
and the other person does not,
Mm-hmm.
that can be a problem because now every day it's going to be an argument about you smoking your Black and Mild or your marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you shouldn't be smoking marijuana.
Oh, you shouldn't be smoking marijuana, not in this country. That's illegal. We even don't no spiritual. That's illegal. Don't play around. I call it the mind. What's going on, yeah? Huh?
You know, for some people, that's a part of their
man.
spiritual,
Yes.
you know, enlightenment and all this other
I,
stuff.
I,
Whatever.
listen, I don't got a problem with people smoke weed at all.
So, like, if you with someone who is going to be in your ear every day about it, no matter how y'all connect and y'all in love, that's what the woman say. They was madly in love.
But I can tell you something. I grew up with my grandparents, right? And don't you meet my Grammy's who I call my mommy. Don't you meet my mommy? My mommy is, when it comes to practicing Christian,
That's the model for you.
I don't know many people who have the mental fortitude to get up every morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, and worship. Every evening and worship. Every day for the past 40 something, 50 something years. I don't know nobody who have that in them.
Yeah.
I don't know much people. I don't know much practicing Christians who have that in them.
It'd be hard for them to get up on a Saturday for prayer.
And she's a 7-day Adventist. So Saturday the best day for shopping and everything.
She home.
She home.
I mean, she would
and
worship,
she don't
and then she home.
and she don't pay people to do nothing for on the Sabbath. It's part of the faith. And she dedicate probably one of the most active days in a week to the Lord. It's something powerful in that in itself. Right? My granddaddy was a gangster, boy. He used to smoke. That nigga was reckless on his mouth. He used to curse. And they had a wonderful marriage, bro. How and that's because you had to see him for who he was. He was not somebody who was gonna lie and fake and pretend and pretend like he was some deeply spiritual person, and he wasn't.
And he didn't have a problem with her lifestyle.
No, good
Did
prayer
she have
practice.
a problem with his lifestyle?
Coming to the end, my grandfather died from cancer. Coming to the end, the smoking. She's like, bro, you got cancer. You have to. You know what I mean?
More from a health standpoint.
From a health standpoint.
Not from.
I'm pretty sure she
stance.
wasn't co-signing his lifestyle. She wasn't like, yeah, but my husband's a gangster. You know what I mean? My husband's reckless. He's a gracious person. She wasn't co-signing that behavior. At the same time, she wasn't judging him.
Right.
She loved him.
I can remember back in my dating years, long time ago. I remember coming into this knowledge or belief that whoever the man that I would marry, that I would go into the faith that he's a part of. Oh. Why you do that? Yeah, that's what I said. Back then. I don't know why. I don't know where I got this belief from or where I got this thought from, but it was always that you would take the belief of your husband on what he believes. So it was important to marry someone who already was believing what I believe, already was where I wanted to be, so that I didn't have to uproot my whole life and go into a totally different religion to be with someone.
But you don't think that's crazy, people? Like, in the faith, right? You have the concept of submitting, right? Rather than submit to your husband's faith or belief, she was going to find a partner who already believed what she believed, so that submitting to that belief, she would already be like in. That's crazy.
But you don't think that's a part of submission? No? Is it false submission?
That's false submission. That's crazy right there, bro.
That's false submission.
That's like, I don't even know what next. That's the first time I ever hear something so tricky in my life. That's crazy.
But it was a thing. And it was more than just leaving the church to go to the church or wherever the man was. It was like, I don't know if I want to leave my church. So now you're trying to find someone who in your church so that y'all can stay at the church together.
It's crazy.
I don't know why. I don't know where that thought come from. I don't know. Maybe they told us that.
I think that one of the problems that people find, people get encounter with this, is Christians believe that if you don't believe what they believe, that they go into hell. This is the
being unequally yoked.
Okay, this is the problem that this scenario has. He was literally like, he's a Christian. She didn't believe in this, and he believed that she was going to
change.
hell. She was gonna burn one day. And in her mind, she
Dancing
couldn't.
in the rain with her though, and drinking
Hopefully one
milkshakes.
day so she don't get crispy. And in her mind, she was like, bro, this nigga with me. And this nigga really think like I going to hell. I gonna go burn, bust hell wide open. This nigga on this type. And to her, it probably sound like nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's probably for her bad. Yeah, it's like, bro, okay. This a little crazy.
I think it could be hurtful too.
Yeah.
Especially if that person feels judged by you.
Mm-hmm.
Like they constantly feel like you judging them, you judging their lifestyle, you judging the things that they do, and I don't I that's why I don't think it for some people it can work, but I don't think it should.
Listen, stop tiptoeing around this
I
thing.
ain't tiptoeing. I trying to find the words because it's so. It sounds like what you saying about fake submission, like finding someone who where you at or where your belief is, so that y'all could
Listen, what
frolic
happened? Okay,
together.
what happens then? Let's put a different question then. That way,
Okay.
because I want to hear her thoughts on this really. Okay. What happens when you met someone a Christian
Mm-hmm.
and now they ain't a
And
Christian no more?
That is, and that happens. That happens.
That happens a lot.
Do you leave them?
Yeah.
No. Right?
Mhm.
You stand with that person despite their belief.
In the
being-
comments, y'all staying or y'all going?
I mean, things change, people change, and just like this guy in the scenario, he was hoping that she would have the time to change.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, I think it's important not to take on the responsibility of someone else's salvation.
Mm.
It's not you're not you're not the savior. You're not the savior. And you want the person to be saved, or you want them to be converted, you want them to be changed, whatever the word is that represent what you believe. You want them to be with you. And you would do anything to get them to that point, but at the same time, you interfering with their process, and you interfering with how they are going to become who they want to become. No, nothing explodes in your face more than someone doing something just because you want them to do it. It's so disingenuous, it's not real, and it doesn't last. So they could come with you to service, they could participate as much as they want. When that breaking point comes, they're not gonna do it anymore.
So, what advice would you give that young man?
This guy who in the car thinking his girlfriend going to hell.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hope this was in the first. This can't be the first time they're having a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But if you saying you madly in love with this person, you done invested in this person,
Mm-hmm.
are you going to just walk away? Some people do. Some people walk away. They take the pain, the hurt with it, and saying that, yo, it ain't equally yoked. It's a problem for me. And then even that, just the thought that this person that I love so much is going to bust hell wide open. You laying next to this person, you comfortable with that? You okay with that? You feel like, we having a good time right now laying on this beach. But you looking at them and you're like, their eternity in your belief ain't secure. But then if you leave them, you just chuck them away.
Okay.
You can't love a person and then just throw them away and be like, well, y'all, you better find God and peace out. A-town.
Well, I mean, I guess that's kind of what the Bible teach. You know, if you're for God, you know, you be mothers against daughters, fathers against son, You gotta make up which side of the road you wanna be on.
Right.
Now,
So
me,
we're making people decide that for us.
yeah, me personally, I don't subscribe to this
Believe.
type of rhetoric. Right? Um, one of the things is you have to do a comparative study, right? Some people just read one text, one faith, and they become engulfed in that text, in that faith, and you get some type of passion that is it almost a cultish behavior in a sense, right? Because they so infatuated with the faith. I've done you have to do a comparative study. Read more stuff, right? I've read some Kemetic texts, read some of the Muslim stuff, some of the Torah. I read the Bible many times. I do still, in some ways, consider myself a Christian. I'm not what most people would describe as a Christian, but I could consider myself a Christian. However, when you read these stuff, you find that when you read more stories, you read outside the promise, you find that principle wise, most of them believe the same thing.
Interesting.
A Hindu, a Buddhist, and stuff like that. If you take, let's say, for example, the 10 Commandments,
When it comes to life, you mean?
when it comes to even the faith, when you take, if you, oh, my nose went, oh my gosh.
You don't napkin?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I have a impressive superpower to subdue any sneeze. When you take all of these faiths and you read them for their core principles, they basically saying the same thing. If you take Kemetic science, you take Christianity, and you say, okay, let me look at the 42 negative confessions and let me look at the 10 commandments, you'll find that they would agree with each other, right? So principle wise, y'all believe sort of the same thing. Okay. Now, when we reach the point that we start to talk about the stuff that we can't verify, that is normally where the conflict is happen. What people really is argue about is be the stuff after death,
Right. The eternity stuff.
the eternity stuff. They ain't arguing if murder is wrong. They ain't arguing if giving is wrong or giving to the poor. They ain't arguing about lying, about this, about that, and whatever. So I learned to look at people and see people principles.
Yeah.
People core value. I could care less about what faith you practice. To me, it's all designed to teach you how to live a better life as a human. Okay? There's some Hindus out there that is extremely disciplined. Muslims, extremely disciplined. Kemetic science, extremely disciplined.
Yeah.
Those people who practice in these stuff. You can't just, and you have some Christians, extremely disciplined.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what you focus on. So I would tell him, bro, listen to me. Come down off the high horse. Is she a good person? Do you believe that she is an evil human being? Is she an evil human being? Do you believe? Because you living with her and you riding with her and you having a good time with her. So obviously she ain't that jacked up or her lifestyle ain't that far off. It ain't like you sitting in the passenger seat and I look over at her and she was drinking a 40. You know, she's chugging back a 40. Now, it's that moment I knew she was going to bust hell wide open. That's what we saying here. It's been your girlfriend for however long. Y'all thought that y'all was going to get married. Y'all living a wonderful life. She have good principles. She's agree with your parents and all of these types of stuff. It's just that the stuff with after that, you little shake up on.
Yeah.
News flash. It's after that, bro. You alive. Don't be so heavenly minded. You ain't no earthly good, bro. See what I'm saying? You exist with this woman right here on the earth. And then after this, I doubt you even be with her in heaven. I don't think there's no husband and wife and stuff like that in the Christian archetype of heaven. So I don't know if it matter all that strongly, but for me, I don't know if I place it in. Now if there's something that I believe, like I believe, bro, listen, I can't deal with a person who's lie, or I would never be with a bisexual woman. I ain't gonna be with a bisexual woman.
That's a personal thing.
So as a personal thing, I think that I think that's wrong
Mm-hmm.
for me to be with them. I bisexual women, y'all out there, that's cool. It's all right. I
Yeah,
just
for
don't
you.
think that it's a lifestyle that I really could fit in, because you have a bunch of gay friends and I can just find myself and trying to appease you and trying to hang with you. I could be in a lot of places that I wouldn't feel comfortable in.
Right.
You understand?
Okay.
Not the people. Not the problem really with the people.
Yeah.
But it's a certain lifestyle that come with that thing that I just ain't it ain't gonna be fun for me.
Yeah.
So I personally would that would be the point where I say, okay, yeah, I draw the line. There's something about that that goes against my faith, my standpoint. Because my faith have to line up with how I live in.
Yeah.
You understand?
I like that you pointed out like the whole judgment part of eternity, because it's very presumptuous of you to hellbound someone and you don't even know what your eternity is gonna be like.
You don't know what God is decide.
You don't know. And in this scenario, he's going just off of, do you believe in God or not? Because you could believe in God and still bust hell wide open.
Yeah, I said many of them was be it there saying, Lord, Lord. He said, depart from me, I know you're not.
You
Worker of iniquity.
definitely can. So, like for me, like understanding that everyone's has to go through. Patrice Washington says this a lot. So I'm not even gonna credit myself for this, but she says you have to give people the dignity of their process.
Mm-hmm.
They have to go through what they have to go through in order to end up where they need to end up.
Mm-hmm.
So, like in our relationship, I try my best not to put my spiritual,
Convictions.
convictions on you.
And I try to do the same.
Yeah, I know. Because it's not up to me to have you be at a certain point. When me and you were together, when we started,
We still together. When we were together. What the hell is she talking about?
I mean, when we started dating, when we first got together, that's better. When we first got together, we used to do the quarterlies, and I visited Hillview with you. And I remember, I don't know if you remember this, but you remember the pastor saying to us, not at Hillview, the other pastor, saying to you, like, how I can need my jumper church, and like I come from the type of background where we used to do a lot of dancing and praising, and 70 just ain't it. Like I can need that place to be. And I remember sitting there like, what is he talking about? Wait,
like he
so
know you better than me.
it's about the entertainment. It ain't about the quality of word, because I'm gonna put it out there. SDA have quality word now.
Listen to me.
They have quality.
You want to
quality.
tiptoe around this thing. Let me tell you something. The Christian
I
denominations, y'all can never beat the Seventh-day Adventists.
Oh,
Never.
jeez.
I've been to all. I've been to all.
What you mean you've been to all?
I've been to all of them. I've been to Anglican. I've been to a Catholic service. I've been to, you name it. I've been to the jumper church. You're screaming, the backflipping coming down. I didn't see it all. Listen to me. When it comes to breaking down the word, by the Seventh-day Adventists, they got it. Jehovah's Witnesses come close. You all hard too. You're allowed to. But you're a little tricky with the words, man. You're a little tricky with the words.
Yeah, tricky, eh?
Yeah, you must do some little messy stuff.
I have a
like,
Jehovah's Witness friend who used to call me a lot.
Yeah.
she always wanted to do, just a little scripture. Just share a scripture with you. You know how it is, too, right?
Yeah.
It used to be nice. We used to
That's the
have
one
a
who
good
called,
time.
who come to the phone, who come to the phone at that time.
Yeah, she still hit me up every now and again. But we
Joke
don't
you
have our sessions like how we used to. But I used to enjoy it because y'all know y'all just be ducking the Jehovah's Witness.
No, I don't that time.
Y'all don't be answering the door. Y'all just be playing dead still and looking at them through the
wouldn't
window. Looking at them through the window. Have a conversation. Like Ken say, sometimes you have to just listen to what someone else believe. Belief is it's such a core thing that I feel like we don't respect other people's belief. And because we don't respect it, we so set in our own way and what we believe, and we don't want nobody else to believe nothing else other than what we believe. That don't come across in a loving way. That don't come across. Not saying that you have to convert and you have to accept, because at the end of the day, when we reach them gates, if there's gates, when we reach them gates, you can be standing there by yourself and you have to give an account for yourself.
Correct.
Not any of those persons that you had a conversation with, that you
Correct.
looked at as a person, that you sat on a bench with, and you just let them express what it is that they've been through in their life and how their faith has brought them to where they are now. That's not your place to try and disqualify that tell them like, no, that ain't real. You need to believe this instead. It's like, this is a person's life. Like,
Okay, I have two things to say, right? So let me tackle what she just said first. Most of the time, when you have the conversation where it is normally going to argument, we could be describing a bunch of belief stuff.
yeah.
We could be describing angels and beasts coming up out the sea with 6 heads and 8 wings and all kinds of things. These are things we could be describing,
Yeah.
right? All of that stuff, that built for argument.
Definitely. You
That
know
built-
why?
Nobody can verify it. Nobody can verify it. So, now the next thing I want to talk about is something called dissonance, resonance, cognitive dissonance. Okay? Resonance. This is when we hear things that we hear it before, so it resonates with us. Okay? Your parents grow you up a certain way, so when you go to a certain church, it sounds so familiar to you, it just sit well with your spirit. Dissonance. This when we hear things that that don't go with my core value beliefs. The things that make me who I am, the things that I know, or the things that I think that I know is true, that goes against it. That is cause anger, pain. Resonance is tend to cause calmness and joy and camaraderie, right? And then there's cognitive dissonance. Very important. This is where we hear things that we don't agree with, like they go against our core value, but they make sense. This is cause sometimes anger, confusion, because the brain, like, that makes sense what you just say, but I know religion has caused a lot of cognitive dissonance. It has caused a lot of, because when you hear somebody faith, you could talk to Muslims, you could talk to comedic scientists, you can go and you can hear some things that just make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But you like, bro, I can't listen to you because you Muslim and I Christian. So when I decided to take my spiritual walk, I prayed first. I prayed to God. And I said, God, I want to know truth.
Mm-hmm.
In order for me to know truth, I have to seek.
Yeah.
I have to know. You have to study to show yourself approved. Right?
Yeah.
And I know what y'all can say, oh no, the clause is study his word to show yourself approved. You have to You have to study a lot of things to know, yo, okay, that makes sense, that don't make sense. I could agree with that, I don't agree with that. As you start to study more and broaden your horizons, you can hear some stuff and you can be able to talk and conversate with other faiths. Because you can be able to talk with a Muslim, and when he say something, you can be able to say, oh, we have that. We have that right here. This is
Similar to
That's the principle you describe it. You can talk to Comectines can tell you, oh no, I get that. That right here inside the Bible. I understand that. Vice versa.
yeah.
If you practicing Kemetic science, because I know a lot of people getting conscious now and they looking at the Egyptian stuff and they trying to get themselves to a certain place, you can hear some stuff and it can be like, okay, hold on. I get that. I understand that principle. I understand that concept. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
That here inside the Bible. So when people talk to me about Christianity or about Muslim faith, or they talk to me about this and they ask me what I feel about this, I able to understand truth.
Mm-hmm.
I able to say, okay, that makes sense. Or I could say, yo, that's fundamentally wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Understand? People, don't be afraid to branch out. Don't be afraid to read more. Don't be afraid to listen. Don't be afraid to listen to the person who you think so wrong. Just listen to them. Even in the Bible, Jesus he was called to the sinners.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Came for the sick
the sick is who is in need of a physician.
physician.
They in need of a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the very people who you judging and saying, oh, da 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 da, they're the people who you have to talk to. And you're gonna find such a wealth of knowledge in communicating with them. Don't try to convert them.
No.
Listen to what they're saying. What's wrong with your faith? Listen to what they're saying that is wrong, to see if it's fundamentally wrong with the faith or if it's fundamentally wrong with the church or the people.
Right. Because you have a lot of that. You have a lot of that. Experiences gone bad and just throw the baby out with the bottled water.
Yeah. I listen to me. I would too. I human. Ain't nobody could be underneath the banner or something and violate me all type of way, and I could just be like, oh,
Nobody can violate you in any event.
no, because I keep violate. I violate. So I love.
I wanted to say though that like if a person is in that type of marriage in particular,
Mm-hmm.
to offer that grace to the person
Mm-hmm.
and understand that you are one, but you are separate.
Mm-hmm.
And even the word tells us like how the believing spouse can cover the unbelieving spouse.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people is hold on to that. They going into relationships with this belief, which I think could be kind of tricky, because here we go again with the build a man concept. You're trying to change a person, and you are not the savior. You cannot change a person, but you can still be human and treat them like a person. Treat them like they matter.
Listen, this is what I say to that. Allow the person go through the process. At the
Yes.
same time, know that there's certain lifestyle things that you ain't going for. Right?
What you mean?
If you're a, let's say, practicing Christian,
Mm-hmm.
right? And there's a certain lifestyle you don't come to. You don't go to clubs.
Right.
Now your spouse all of a sudden he talking about, yo, he won't go to the clubs, he won't go to the bar 3-4 o'clock in the morning. They're seeing something that you always do.
Right.
They things I ain't willing to accept. I'm not breaking up with you because I was a Christian and you ain't a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
There's lifestyle change, there's lifestyle things that you're doing that's too stressful for me to take on.
Right. Because what really can come out of you going to the club at midnight?
Right.
You going at midnight.
So what there's no good in that for me. However, if you was the type of person that somebody smoking, that don't bother you at all. Now I know my wife have horrible allergies. Smokers, she can't do it. She can't do it. So if you was that type of person, so hinder you, yo, you gonna have to go over there, or you gonna have to move away from me when you doing that, or whatever is the case.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things come with, and that's the thing what I like about life and what I like about problem solving with life issues. They never black and white.
No.
They, well, sometimes they are, but they rarely ever black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time there's
gray areas.
gray areas, there's different ways to
Exceptions.
approach it.
Yeah.
It's right in this situation, wrong in this situation. It's right for these couple, wrong for that couple. You understand?
Yeah.
So know yourself. Like I say, don't fake it. If you know you ain't the biggest Christian, you know you ain't the biggest Muslim, you ain't the biggest conscious person in all of this and whatever the case. You don't even know what you're talking about. You watch a couple of YouTube videos. You don't know what you're talking about.
And you got an unk.
Right? You got an uncle. And you write the little thing around your eye. You slide the little curve. Right? You don't know what you're talking about. Stop pretending. That's what I can't take. I can't take the pretending.
Yeah.
Stop pretending. Stop with the, okay, you judging this person and, oh, I can't deal with this and I can't deal with that. Yet you just be the word gossiping and doing all of this and doing all of this evil.
Yeah.
Because you ain't brave for it.
You ain't.
You need to chill out. You know what I mean?
That's
So,
the reality of it. You ain't. So, I don't know. For me, it's still up in the air. I think to each his own at this point. But I think it does require some evaluation on your part. If you find yourself judging someone, and when I say judging, I mean you condemning them before the end of their life.
we're down in your place.
Because you don't know,
ain't
you
going.
don't know, you just don't know. You don't even know if you could be there. You don't know.
All right, guys. So that could bring us to the end of this particular podcast. I was so thankful to see you guys here. So thankful to read the comments that you guys have been leaving us. Please continue to leave us comments. Advise us where you think we went wrong. If you think so, or just tell us your opinion. Remember to like, follow, comment on all of our socials. It's Rao Day on everything practically. I don't think I figured out Apple Music yet, but it's on Spotify, it's on Podbean, Facebook, YouTube. We have an Instagram, we got a TikTok. But for the content, watching the podcast, you want to primarily look at Facebook, YouTube, Podbean, Spotify.
And we'll soon be live. We'll soon be live. And accepting calls and questions.
I listen, guys, you could send a voice note right now and I could
Yeah,
play it.
they
play
definitely
it.
can, yeah.
All right. So that's 456 3013. If you're international, 1242 456 3013. Go ahead. Send us your questions, send us your feedback, message me. I can respond to everything. We love you all.
Yes.
It's your boy. Out.
Bye.
Lights go out or the stars come down. I will always be right here. I don't care if no one else around. I'll hold you down. I'ma always be right here. Yeah, I'ma be right here. Hey, 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 hey. Yeah, I'ma always be right here. Hey, 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 hey. Yeah, I'ma always be right. Yeah, me and you and I. Nobody's perfect, but we align. I swear that what we have is different. You my light in the dark, you the difference. And you're always on point, never missing. I'ma never